Hi, I'm Vice Games, and I'm a Pokemon TCG-centric YouTuber. I like to do a lot of content about playing the game, covering different decks, and trying to introduce the game at a beginner to intermediate level. I'd soon be putting it to the test as my esteemed colleague in the Twitch live streaming sphere, Pirate Willow Turtle, reached out and asked if I'd be willing to give her a bit of a crash course in the Pokemon TCG, and of course, I was more than happy to oblige. I was excited because I already had a bit of a plan in mind of how to teach a newer player, and I was looking forward to leaning into the theme, as you'll soon see, of the Pirate Willow Turtle brand. So therein lies the question, would I be able to get her up to speed, or would I be walking the plank? If nothing else, I hope you enjoy this pirate-themed intro to the Pokemon TCG. Please enjoy. Captain Willow, welcome to the Pirate Seminar for the Pokemon TCG. Are you ready?
I am. Thank you. I'm ready.
All right, well, let's do it. First of all, I like to do my research. So I've gathered some information, and I've put on a slide here just to introduce,
Oh my god, it's me.
my crew to the captain of the treacherous turtle,
It's me.
Pirate Willow. Runs a merry crew of fun times and chill vibes. You see, I've lifted all of this from your about section.
Perfect.
Rule breakers will walk the plank. They will.
Absolutely.
And Pirate Willow sails the seas of various Pokemon games, Sea of Thieves, and other such games. Have you been playing anything else?
Yeah, we got some Marvel Rivals recently. That was a bit of fun until it crashed, but yeah. I'm doing
Yeah,
different stuff.
nice. So, now that we're acquainted with Captain Willow, we'll
Yarg.
swing it across to a slide on myself, just to introduce Willow's crew to who I might be and what my credentials might be in this space. So I'm Captain Vice Games. I am a player of games, a little bit more variety lately, which has been good. Been getting into the Mario Kart. I've been playing other card games as well, but I have a focus on the Pokemon TCG. I've been a competitor for 16 years. I'm a bit of a salty dog at this stuff now, old salt. I went through a list of piratey terms before this stream to try and remember some things. An old salt at this thing. In 2013, I competed in the World Championships and I placed 82nd in that tournament.
Woo.
Not too bad. Not the podium finish that you sort of dream of, but I will take it. I was pretty stoked. I was happy to represent my country. I had to travel across many oceans to get to Canada, which is where it was held that year. In more recent times, my adventures have included getting 6th place at Brisbane Regionals in 2022. That was the first tournament worldwide as the restrictions on COVID had lifted and Pokemon decided to resume large tournaments across the world. It was a pretty awesome moment for me. I got to top 8. I got flogged by Natalie Miller, who's a very accomplished Brisbane-based player, but I was super happy to have made it that far. And then in even more recent times, I managed to get first place at a very big League Cup held during Brisbane Regionals this year, which had 110 players. So I was pretty stoked. I practiced very hard for that tournament, and I'm pretty glad that I was able to make the run back after absolutely bustering out of the main event. I already mentioned that I've been playing other games, so Mario Kart World has been fantastic. I really enjoy the current release of Shadowverse. So Shadowverse is a Hearthstone-like card game. It's very, very similar, but it's very anime. And I guess like the last piece of trivia that I'll throw in there is that I used to stream nothing but Kingdom Hearts 2 every day. I was streaming that game every day.
It's like we were destined to become friends. Like, honestly, I can't believe I didn't find you earlier.
All right, but that's not what this is about. Mainly, I just wanted to set the stage. Who is this random pirate that's shown up on this on the screen? Well, this is who I am. Alrighty, do you know what the Pokemon TCG is? Pretty sure you do, but I thought I'd set the stage a little bit for you. So the TCG is a 1v1 game. You got a deck of 60 cards. You try and beat the other player's Pokemon usually. And I would say that the game itself is a metaphor for two trainers battling it out like you would see in an episode of Pokemon or in the video games. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Now, here's a fun slide. What do you need to play the Pokemon TCG? And I think like this part of the game is really fun to get into. So we're going to be playing Pokemon TCG Live, which is the online client for the game. And what Live is that it's a simulator for playing the real game. So what I want to teach you today is something that you can take to playing over the table, maybe with your friends or family, or if you muster the courage to sail out to your local game store, maybe you could play over the table against other people, you know, at a casual night or whatever, right? But it's totally up to you. So the first thing you need is a 60 card deck. My suggestion, if you are starting from 0, the League Battle decks are pretty good. I put the example of the Charizard one there, but the Dragapult one is very good as well. Which I bought recently. And so like here you get like all these cards in that product. You can definitely play a cohesive game of Pokemon with this deck. And then once you build up a bit of confidence or understanding, you can just trade out the cards for ones that are a bit more competitive, and off you go. Now, where did I put that deck of 60 cards? It's one of these, a deck box. These come in all kinds of like shapes and sizes. The example I've got on the slide there is the Tatsugiri deck box there, and that one is actually quite wide. It can fit a couple of decks worth of cards in it. So, you know, a lot of these products, next time you find yourself in Japan or anywhere with the Pokemon Center, have a look for some of these accessories because they'll be there. Sleeves. So for me personally, I prefer plain sleeves like this. This brand in particular is a Japanese brand called KMC. They've been around for decades. But you can also, again, at your local Pokemon Center, get sleeves that look like this. They're like branded. They've got character art on them. Pokemon ones in particular are allowed in like tournament play. A lot of other types of sleeves out there that have character designs on them, they just say no. I guess it just keeps things simple. Playmat. So you need somewhere to put your Pokemon cards while you're playing, right? So I have here a tube, and within the tube, I was hoping for more of a sound there to play into the mic, but within the tube
Fancy tube
is a playmat. So this one has got a fun design on it with an assortment, like an illustration representing a bunch of the different generations of Pokemon. It's very cool.
Cute.
And they come in, again, all sorts of shapes and sizes. You can get ones that are obnoxiously large. I have a few of them that are like that. This one is a Japanese sized. Like typically playmats that you would get in Japan are sized like this. They're quite a bit smaller than even the ones that Pokemon Company International puts out, or companies like Ultra Pro. So you just go with what you like. Table space is always a premium at local tournaments and even at regionals, so sometimes a smaller playmat helps. What's next? Oh, sorry. I don't want to kill the illusion there. What's next? Coins and dice. So you can see in the bottom right hand corner of the slide, there's a little accessory box. It's got some condition markers to represent things like poison and burn, and you got some numbered dice there. So I actually have a set of these here, some nice purple dice. And although like they don't have to be numbered like this, these ones, I'm going to move the mic with me while I hold it up to the camera. These ones have the numbers represented in actual tens. So when your Pokemon receive damage, you use these to represent the damage that are on them. Unlike playing Pocket, where the game tracks all of that for you. You also could just use like dice with the regular pips on them that you would expect from a regular dice to represent tens of damage. Also, a lot of effects in the Pokemon TCG talk about flipping coins. Typically, you'll find a lot of people who play IRL will use dice rolls instead of flipping coins. Yeah, it's just I think like a lot of people just find flipping coins awkward Whereas like you just roll a dice and it's not particularly onerous task by comparison for some people. Almost to the point where people think you're weird for flipping a coin. I wouldn't think it's weird, but whatever. Also, you've got that little case for the dice there, but you can just go with a dice bag. This is a crocheted dice bag that I got as I think a Christmas present or a birthday present, I forget, from my wife. And I'm going to hold it up to the camera best I can. You can see I've got dice and markers and stuff inside. So you can do all sorts. I wanted to dedicate like a whole slide to this, partly because it is important to know the types of things that you need to be able to play the game. But also, I think that it's fun, right? You get to really express yourself. You get to show other people, like, these are the things that I like when it comes to Pokemon, if nothing else. Like, even if you have a bad game, at least you got to express yourself some way. So that's it for that one. Did you have any questions? Does any of that inspire you to start looking at accessories?
I definitely have a few accessories that I've accidentally collected from buying the like fancy sets that have like the big card and then it comes with like a roll or like it comes with usually like a desk mat, or some of them come with I bought ATBs. They come with the little coin and things like that. So I have quite a few of those already that I just have sitting unused. So I could definitely put them to
maybe
some
you'll
use.
see them in a new light then.
Yeah.
You'll see them in a new light.
Give them some actual function would be, yeah.
All right, so next slide. Let's start getting into it. How do you make a Pokemon deck? Right? All you have to do to make a Pokemon deck is pick one basic Pokemon, 59 other cards, away you go. Right? Simple. But obviously, it's going to require a bit more thought than that to be able to come up with something that will let you play a cohesive game of Pokemon cards, right? But something I always say about this topic is that, like, how is anybody supposed to figure this out on their own? It's such an abstract, weird concept to make a deck of cards from just like an enormous pool of cards for the purpose of trying to beat somebody who has access to the same stuff. Right? When you really think about it, it's really weird. How do you develop the skill to know what cards go together? Have you tried building any decks on your own? Or have you sort of just run with whatever you've got?
I think it's hard to build them because there's just so many options as well to know what to pick and what works better. And sometimes I just like throw things together. And playing in Pocket, I'm like, oh, I don't know what like support cards to use. I'm just gonna put something random, and then I'd find that I don't use it or it's not useful, and I'm like, damn, why didn't I think about this more when I was setting it up? So it's definitely a skill to be able to pick the right cards to go together, for sure.
Yeah. So what I can give you, I'll give you two things. First thing is that it really is just something you build up over a long period of time and exposing yourself to the types of combinations of cards that end up working. I've been through many cycles of this game where they revisit the same concepts over and over, so you have an idea of the things that will end up working well. Not to say that every era of the game doesn't also have its own surprises and unique things about it, but yeah, it's just like something that you build up over time. But what I can give you is I made a video a while ago aimed at parents of kids that are like, below 10 years old. They've just got a random assortment of cards because they just, maybe their parents just buy them the odd booster pack here or there, or they've got a theme deck that's now been blown up into a million pieces and the cards are everywhere. So it was like a guide of, this is how you help a kid that has just a random pile of cards build the best deck they can from that pile of cards. And I think that it applies here too. So where I would start, and where I've always started with trying to explain the concept of building a deck with new players, is to think, you need to think less about the metaphor of having a team of 6 Pokemon. When you think about you playing like playing through Pokemon Red, you got to the end of the Elite Four, and you got a team of 6 of your most trusty pals, or think of like Ash fighting in the Pokemon League. He's always got his team of 6 that he goes in and battles with, and And so you would think that that would then, or you might want to use that in your mind as like what you want to do to build your deck in the Pokemon TCG. I'm like Ash. I'm gonna have a Charizard and a Pikachu, and I'm gonna have the Bulbasaur, and like in the Pokemon TCG, that kind of deck doesn't really work. You can't really have a deck that has 6 in the way that you would try and represent like Ash's team in the anime, for example, right? So instead, in Pokemon TCG, what you want to do is pick one main Pokemon that you really like. So what I ask people to do, and maybe this is more once upon a time. Nowadays, people can just look at tournament results and have a tier 1 deck immediately. But what I would normally do with people trying to learn is I would say, okay, your deck is a little bit all over the place. What Pokemon are you really happy to see when you draw it from your deck? Like, what Pokemon do you think is like, yeah, it's go time. I've got that Pokemon. We're gonna really give it to them now. So I'm going to use the example that I've got on screen here because I think it's pretty good at illustrating the points that I want to make with this slide. Espathra EX here is like a pretty good Pokemon to build a whole strategy around. So rather than making a deck where you want to use like Espathra and then like 5 other Pokemon to attack with, we're only going to think about this one Pokemon, Espathra. And so we'll think about what it can do well and what it needs to be able to do well. So what it does well is it's got this attack. I'm going to keep it simple. Let's not worry about most of the text on this card. Let's just look at the attack. Cyball says, this attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. So what that means is if Espathra can have 2 energy, 3 energy, 4 energy, 5, 6, 7, 8, the more energy you can attach to it, the more damage it's going to do to the opposing Pokemon, if we want to keep it simple, right? So we look at the cards that are available to figure out how can we make Espathra do what it wants to do as well as it can. And so sitting behind it there is that Xatu, and it's got an ability that attaches basic psychic energy, which is what Espathra needs. We'll ignore that it can be any energy for Cyball, but at least it has to be at least one psychic. So you attach a psychic energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, and if you do, you draw cards. You draw 2 cards? Wait, I have to take my eye patch off. 2 cards. So it's doing double duty for you there. It's drawing cards, it's accelerating the energy to the Espathra, and it's helping it do what it wants to do. So what I'm saying here with this is what you need to do is look at the Pokemon that's really interesting to you, probably the one that you want to attack with, and look for other Pokemon and cards, whether they're other Pokemon or supporter cards or energies or whatever, that help the Pokemon's main strategy. And there are a lot of Pokemon out there that will do the same thing for lots of different decks, and that's why you'll see them appear in many of the decks out there, like Fezandipity EX, for example. I know that's a lot, but what do you think about that? Does that illuminate any of the mystery behind deck building?
Yeah, it does. It is, I think, good to see how it's different from the rest of Pokemon, because you're right, it is like thinking about it in a different way. I do like how you were like, don't worry about reading all the text. I think that's part of the reason why it gets a bit scary sometimes when you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing, and there's all these different abilities and things, but building around one Pokemon, because it's a lot less daunting to have to stress about like all these other things. Is like, I'm just gonna focus on this one guy and I'm gonna make everything work around him. That's it.
Yeah, it kind of like trying to approach a more difficult task. You just start with something and you just chip away at it, break it into smaller tasks, I guess. So start with the Espathra and then figure out the structure around it to make it work. And then you try the deck, and then the deck sucks, and then you think about why it sucked, and then you change some cards, and then you try it again. So it's always like that. I think we've got a good grasp of where to start with deck building. That's something that we can look at a little bit later. But for now, we're going to start looking at what a game of the Pokemon TCG actually looks like. So when you put your deck of 60 together, you sit down in front of an opponent, you shake their hand like this, and then you and then you set up and you go. So you flip a coin to see who goes first. Well, the winner of the coin flip gets to choose whether they want to go first or second. And that is a contentious question at the moment. A lot of decks want to go second these days, which is really interesting that it's worked out that way. You go shuffle your deck. Don't know how proficient you are at shuffling, but that is a thing that you have to do a lot in the Pokemon TCG. My hands get sore after a tournament just from all the shuffling.
I'm a trash shuffling
But
person.
that might be a me thing. Well, look, if you get into it, you'll get a lot better. And also, don't let other pirates tell you that you have to learn riffle shuffling or anything fancy. You just mash, okay? You just
squish them together.
60... Yeah. So the best shuffle is just this. You just take it overhand and you just mash it like this about 7 or 8 times, and then your deck is sufficiently shuffled. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
That's the only way I know how to shuffle anyway, so...
Me too. I've been playing for 16 years. I couldn't riffle if my life depended on it. You look at your opening hand. Actually, we can simulate an opening hand right now. Having a full deck here as a prop is working out pretty well today. So you shuffle, and then you set your deck down. I'm going to draw 7. You draw the first 7. Okay. And then we look at our opening hand. I'm going to fan it out there in front of you. And then the basic Pokemon that we happen to have in this hand is Natu. So I would put Natu out first. If you didn't get a basic Pokemon, you have to shuffle and redraw, and your opponent gets to draw an extra card to start the game with. And then, okay, they talk about prize cards in Pokemon TCG. It works a bit like the prize points. Once all the prize cards taken, you win. And how this works is when the game starts, you take 6 cards, they get set to the side. Every time your opponent's Pokemon gets knocked out, whether you attacked it or something else happens, you take a prize card and you add it to your hand. And once all of them are gone, you win. And then there's EX Pokemon where you'll take more than one when one gets knocked out and things like that. So that's pretty simple. Now, what can I do during my turn? So if you're familiar with Pocket, which I think you are, you've played a little bit of that.
Yeah, quite a bit.
There's some things that you can do once per turn. There's some things you can do as many times as you like during your turn. It's very, very similar to the full TCG. You're just dealing with cards that have higher HP and you got more Pokemon on the bench and stuff like that. And I think like the one big difference is that the energy is included in the deck and it's not drawn from the side like it is in Pocket. You don't have an energy zone. So other than first, there's some things that you're not allowed to do if you go first. So I'll go back actually. If it's the first turn of the game and you're going first, you cannot play supporter cards, which I don't know if that's how it works in Pocket. I think it does. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, you don't get an energy and you can't play any support. You can just put your Pokemon out, I think.
Okay. Well, in the full TCG, it's just supporters. You can't play supporters. And you can't attack either. So that's important to stipulate because in the TCG you can attach energies on the first turn. There are some cards that say, I don't care about the rules, I'm going to do that anyway, but otherwise, by default, that's just how it works. So, you must draw a card at the beginning of your turn from your deck. If your deck has no cards remaining and you cannot draw a card, you lose, which is an interesting way to lose. It's a little less common at the moment, but there are times where that is important to remember. And then you can do any of the following in any order that you sort of like or that your hand allows you to. So you can play as many item cards as you like. You can only play one supporter. You can play one stadium card if you're able to. So I don't think stadiums are in Pocket, but in the TCG, there is one stadium in play. If one is played, and usually it affects both players. You cannot play a stadium if it has the same name as the stadium that's currently in play. And when you do play a stadium, the previous one gets discarded. It goes to the discard pile of the player who played it. You can attach one energy card right? Whether it's a basic energy card or a special energy, you can only attach one. Unless there's some effect that allows you to attach energies by way of how it works. You've got your one energy attachment per turn that happens no matter what, and then you've got other abilities that might sneak energy into play different ways. You can retreat once. I believe that's the same in Pocket as well. You can play cards like Switch to move Pokemon around out of step, but again, you get one retreat. You can evolve as many Pokemon as you like once. So if you had a bench full of Caterpie, they could all evolve into Metapod, as long as those Pokemon were in play since the beginning of the turn. And as long as it's not the first turn, or like for you as a player, the first turn of the game. So it can't be turn 1 or turn 2. So if you start your turn, you draw your card, and you already had that Caterpie on the bench, you can evolve it into Metapod. And you can use abilities. So some Pokemon have abilities that are kind of like always active, and you don't have to declare them. For example, maybe an ability that said, your Pokemon do 30 extra damage to the opponent. You don't have to declare that ability, it's just always there. But there's other abilities that might say something like, search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. Well, you've got to declare or say, I use that ability and I'm going to do that. And then at the end of the turn, you can choose to attack or you can just pass. So this was probably another slide that went on a bit longer than it needed to, but I feel like for completedness, it's good to just explain all the things that you can do on a turn. It makes way more sense when you're actually playing the game. Does that all sound good?
It is definitely all necessary information. Luckily, I have a little bit of background with Pocket.
Yeah.
It is actually quite different to Pocket.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, I guess it is a lot more than Pocket. Pocket is like way easier. Because there's no stadium cards in Pocket. The energy you don't have to worry about because it doesn't count under your... It's just like the energy from the zone, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we understand what you can do during a turn. We'll move on. So an even longer slide about evolution and breaking the rules. So we'll start with what evolving Pokemon is. To me, evolving Pokemon and this mechanic of the game is like one of the most iconic parts of both the TCG, standing it apart from other card games out there, as well as just being an iconic thing in the Pokemon franchise as a whole, right? You get your Charmander, you play through the game, it becomes this awesome Charizard, and you're a happy child. So it's a long-standing tradition in Pokemon media, and it's present in the card game too, as you know. Each of your Pokemon can evolve once per turn. That's not any different from Pocket, so I think you understand that. You can't evolve a Pokemon if it entered play during your turn. So if you just put the Caterpie down, you can't immediately put a Metapod on top. It has to have been in play before your turn started. That's the easy way to remember that. These rules can be broken if a card effect would allow you to do so. So a card like Technical Machine Evolution, which I should probably put on screen perhaps. So it's a really awesome card that I hope sticks around in the card game for a while. It's got this attack called Evolution. It basically gives your Pokemon a new attack, which is a pretty cool thing. So your Pokemon gets an attack called Evolution, which says, choose 2 of your bench Pokemon, and for each of them, search your deck for a card that evolves from that Pokemon, and put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it. So this type of text or effect is allowed to break the rules of evolution. Because it's from the effect of a card. Otherwise, you would have to wait that one turn before you evolve your Caterpie into a Metapod. And that's about all to remember there. There's also, the quick thing with evolving too is, let's say your Caterpie is poisoned and you evolve it into a Metapod. You're probably familiar with this from playing Pokemon Pocket already, but in the TCG as well, if you evolve that poisoned Caterpie, Evolution clears that effect. It gets rid of the poison, and you're good to go. You're a Metapod. And it's same for other sorts of effects too. So just something to keep in mind. Let's say maybe your Caterpie is hit with paralysis, and you're really wishing you could attack. Well, you can just evolve. Okay, so we've understood how to start the game, what the first turn or two of the game looks like and what you're allowed to do on your turn,
Yep.
how do you figure out how to beat your opponent, right? If I hand you Charizard EX and it's like a tier 1 ready to go blast the other Pokemon into an infinity, how do you make the moves to make it happen? Or what? Okay, it's not going to be as... I'm not going to try and teach you how to beat an opponent necessarily, like outsmart them necessarily. What I'm talking about here is what is the flow of the game that occurs that ultimately reaches a conclusion. Basically, how do you conclude a game of Pokemon? Beat an opponent or whatever. So you start by powering up your Pokemon and evolving them up. So every turn you attach your energies, you're evolving your Pokemon, you're using abilities to get energy into play quickly and all that sort of thing. Both Archaludon and Charizard here do all of those things. They evolve up, they've got abilities that get energy into play quickly, they've got attacks that do damage to the opposing Pokemon, and they take that damage. And then once the damage that's on them exceeds the amount of HP, which you can see in the top right-hand corner, they get knocked out, and the opposing player takes a prize card, or multiple prize cards for, in the case of EX Pokemon. So that's pretty similar to Pocket, I think, except instead of prize points, you get cards that you set aside earlier. When one player takes all 6 prize cards of their prize cards, they win. And that is how a typical game of Pokemon goes. A player loses when they can no longer draw cards from their deck at the beginning of the turn. And another interesting way that you can lose is if you have no Pokemon in play remaining, you just lose on the spot as well. That is also the same as in Pocket, I believe. If your opponent just didn't put down another Pokemon and you just knock out their only Pokemon, I believe the game ends.
Yep, you lose. You lose.
Yep.
Too bad.
You lose, you dingus, you absolute scallywag. Okay, so that's pretty sensible. Now, with all this being said, Pokemon seems pretty simple, and I would say most of the time it is, but hold on, Willow. We're going to look at some weird stuff in the game. Okay? Weird stuff. Damage is damage. We'll start at the top. Damage is damage, okay? If it is a card, let's look at an example. I'm going to put this Cyndaquil on screen. That number there, the 30, that is damage. It is not anything else. It's just damage being done to the opposing Pokemon. Anything that refers to damage refers to that number. And anywhere in the card text that refers to damage as opposed to another source of damage, which, okay, we're going to start getting weird, like Ash here with the Krabby. Okay, this is actually a better example of what I wanted to show. So, this Dragapult has an attack called Phantom Dive, and it says, so under the damage, which is 200, it has an effect that reads, put 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon in any way you like. So damage counters are an effect. Damage is damage is damage. And I'm going to give you another example to try and illuminate that for you. So there is this new Blaziken, which has kind of a similar looking attack at first to the Dragapult, but not exactly. So this Blaziken has an attack called Inferno Kick Flurry, and it reads 120 damage. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 120 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. You notice that the text is a bit different between the two? Oh. So one says damage counters and one says damage. And so where this gets super duper fun, for lack of a better way to put it, we've got this lovely little sea dog. Well, not a sea dog, it's more like a sky dog, really. Hedgehog. Shaman here that says, and we're not going to read the whole text, we're just going to read that first line, prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon that don't have a rule box. Okay, that part doesn't really matter for our purposes here. So, pop quiz. This says, prevent damage done to your bench Pokemon. Blaziken and Dragapult have an effect that hit the bench. Which one do you think gets blocked by Shaman, and which one does not? Because Shaman is only stopping one of them.
The Shaman damage is damage, which means that Shaman would block Blaziken's move, but not Dragapult's move.
That is correct.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Fantastic.
I'm learning.
Fantastic. I did not mean to put you on the spot there, but I thought it would be good to see if you understood, and you did. Well done.
Yay.
Well done. Okay, effects in Pokemon are pretty broad in their definition. So like damage counters are an effect, but also things like applying poison is an effect. Being burned is an effect. Paralysis, confusion. Those are also known as status conditions, but they are effects. You can also do things like, for example, you can apply an effect to... A Pokemon can apply an effect to itself. So this Team Rocket's Moltres has an attack called Flame Screen, and it says, during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 50 less damage. So what you have to imagine is you take an imaginary counter and you put it on the Moltres, and it says, during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 50 less damage. It's an effect on itself that is reducing damage by 50. And then sometimes there's Pokemon out there that say ignore effects on your opponent's Pokemon, and then Flame Screen's damage reduction wouldn't work. It's not too important to think about it too much, because, again, this is on the weird stuff slide. So worry about it later. Ask about it when it comes up. But I thought that it would be useful to illuminate this thing about effects being put onto Pokemon, because it's a bit odd. You can also get rid of these effects by doing some of the things that we talked about before, such as if you can evolve the Pokemon, the effect will go away. So this is a positive effect on the Moltres, but you can have negative effects too. You might have an attack that says next turn this Pokemon takes 50 more damage from attacks. That might be a bad example. Let's say there's an effect on yourself already that's negative. Let's say you're poisoned. Again, you would just evolve out. But another thing you can do too is you can go to the bench, which, again, like in Pocket, the effect goes away if you go to the bench and a new Pokemon hits the active. Your Pokemon on the bench don't stay poisoned, for example. Same in the full TCG. So if you, on the previous turn, used an attack that says this Pokemon can't attack next turn, if you send that Pokemon to the bench, it gets rid of that effect, and then you can go to the active again. So I've got a line item here that says effects on you. Well, there is one poster child for this effect at the moment. This guy, Budju, very maligned amongst its baby brethren. It has an attack called Itchy Pollen, and it says, during your opponent's next turn, they can't play item cards from their hand. So it's an effect that a Pokemon's attack has on the player rather than a Pokemon, which is really funny, especially given that this thing is just a little 30 HP baby Pokemon. But just something to remember. You can have effects that affect players rather than the Pokemon in play. And then, likewise, like you can have an effect on the opponent as opposed to an effect on you. That Budju would be an effect on the opponent. I'm going to give you an example of an effect that you put on yourself. This guy lives in my nightmares. Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia GX. It's got this cool attack called Altered Creation. I'm going to read it just for fun. For the rest of the game, your Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon if this Pokemon has at least one extra water energy attached to it. In addition to this attack's cost, when your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from those attacks, take one more prize card. I hate this Pokemon card very much. But the point of bringing it up here is that it has an attack that puts an effect on you for the rest of the game. So it's just an interesting one. Okay, we're in the home stretch. I've got one more really weird thing to show you. Look at this egg. Do you see this egg? It's got a really cool ability that you don't need to worry about, but it was around about 12 years ago, this execute. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put it into your hand. The part that I want you to focus on is the very first part of the effect, which says once during your turn. Well, this execute really doesn't care about that line of text. It is representative of a concept in the Pokemon TCG called private knowledge. So there are things about my deck of 60 that you don't know, and one of them would be how many execute I currently have in my hand. So here's this card, Ultra Ball, and it's got an effect. It says you can use this card only if you discard 2 cards from your hand. So you have to discard 2 cards from hand in order to use the Ultra Ball. Search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. We're going to focus more on that first line of text there. You got to discard cards from your hand. So what you would do, or what you could do, is you could have 2 of these execute in hand, right? You use Ultra Ball, and you use the 2 execute and discard them and put them into your discard pile. And then you could use propagation and put those execute back into your hand. Now, it says once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put this Pokemon into your hand, right? But the game is not able to track the cards once it enters a private area of the game, such as your hand or your deck. So, if you had 4 Ultra Ball in hand, despite what it says there about once during your turn, you could go Ultra Ball, discard 2, execute, then use propagation and put them back. And then you could play another Ultra Ball, discarding those 2, execute, and then you could break the rules of this card by putting them back into your hand again. And you could just do that over and over and over. Even if you can apply certain amounts of logic, what is private is private. I'm going to try and give you an easier to follow scenario. So let's imagine for a second your deck is empty. Let's say you got a 0 card deck. Let's say you play Super Rod, and Super Rod has an effect that lets you return either Pokemon or 3 of either Pokemon or basic energy from your discard pile into your deck. So let's say I choose 3 Pikachus, and the Pikachus go back into my deck, and so your opponent should be able to deduce my opponent's deck only has Pikachu. There are no other options in the deck, right? It's impossible for there to not be 3 Pikachus in the deck because we used Super Rod on a 0 card deck. Ultra Ball says you search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. You could play the Ultra Ball, look at the 3 Pikachus in your deck and say, I couldn't find a Pokemon, and put the deck back down. This is something that I don't think comes up in Pocket because there's no like searching your deck. It's always like you play a card and you get something from your deck and it will be random what it is. Like Pokeball, for example. I brought it up because I just wanted to try and assess, I guess, whether it's like more or less common, and I think it's less common in Pocket. So an interesting thing with Pokemon is that if it specifies what you need to choose, you don't have to choose anything. You know, you could just say, I play Ultra Ball, I couldn't find a Pokemon, and that's the end of the turn.
So you're saying that you could, even if you can't, to clarify, does this mean you can lie?
Essentially, yeah. Yeah.
You could really play like a pirate. Nah, just be a dick. You can just lie.
Deceiving your opponent is important.
Wow.
But no, like there's not really like a lot of advantage to it when you think about it. At first, it's a very like niche thing that you'll appreciate more the more that you play. A lot of the time, it might be something like, I want to play Ultra Ball just to see what's in my deck, and then do other stuff. That might be a more common thing. But a lot of the time, it's not really, like, obvious at first why making a play like that would make sense. But it is important to know that you can do it if it makes sense at the time. And a type of effect where you wouldn't be able to do something like that is using something like Pidgeot. So this one bucks that trend a little bit because Pidgeot has an ability that lets you search for any card and put it into your hand and then shuffle your deck. Every card in your deck is a card. So this is where you don't get to be coy about it and be like, oh, I couldn't find any cards. Well, your deck is made of cards, so you have to select something with Pidgeot.
I looked at my deck and I said, no cards there. None. Sorry.
Yeah. So, and that is it. Shiver me timbers, look at the time. We've been talking for yonks already. How is that? Are you all Pokemoned out? Do you feel like you've been sitting in class for like an hour?
No, it's good. It's all useful. I think it's all just like the little bit of extra information that I didn't already have from my basic knowledge of Pocket and stuff. So it's like all the gaps, all the fillers, which is good. I didn't know about the
This-
mind games thing though. I had no idea. I thought you just had to be honest. I didn't know that was even an option.
Yeah, like, look, it's not normally mind games. I could see where it could be, where you could try and bluff your opponent and be like, oh no, I've run out of Pokemon, so like you try and bait them into doing something. But a lot of the time it'll be you wanted to double check what was in your deck.
All of a
Or
sudden, Pokemon is
it'll be
poker.
something like, okay, to like actually get into the weeds of it a little bit, there'll be times where you've got useless cards left in hand. There'll be times where you've got cards that you no longer want in hand. So you might play something like Ultra Ball, but you don't have a hand where you want to add cards from the deck to your hand just yet. So it's probably not a very necessary thing to know, but that's like the kind of like intermediate to expert sort of thought process that people have.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, would you like to play some Pokemon cards with me, Pirate Willow?
Yeah, let's get it. Let's do it. Let's fight.
Yeah, let's jump in. Let's actually play some Pokemon TCG. Okay, my only advice with picking heads or tails is whatever you pick from now on, make sure that's the one you pick every time. Never change.
Never change.
Yep, I've picked tails for 16 years.
Yeah, I'm a Tails. I've always been a Tails person, so I'm going
It never
Tails.
fails. It never fails.
I'm going Tails. Hey. Okay. The first and important question. Do I actually want to go first?
So, your deck... I have the physical list in front of me, so I am going to check. But I think that the answer is yes. You want to... Oh, sorry. You want to go second. You want to go second.
Do I want to go first? No.
No. So, because it means that you'll be able to play a supporter. It means that you'll be able to attack. And so...
I have a full turn.
Yeah, you get to do all the things. And what you want to try and do is engineer a situation where you're using TM evolution. Thank you, Frozen Panda, for the follow there. So I'm gonna put down my Pokemon. Your only choice is Tatsugiri, and that is a fantastic choice.
Cool.
A fantastic one to start with. You've got a great looking hand there. You've got plenty to do.
I got lots of things.
So let's do it.
That is loud.
I'm going first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of options because I'm going first. I can't play any supporters, so I'm going to play Buddy Poffin. It's a item card, so I can play as many of those as I like. And I get to search my deck for a couple of Pokemon that have 70 HP or less. And they have to be basic. I'm just going to put them down. Then...
Okay.
I guess I will attach a Psychic Energy to the Skarmory, and then I will end my turn. Over to you. So, let's look at what you've got going on in hand. We're going to very briefly visit a concept in the Pokemon TCG that you'll see thrown around a lot called sequencing. So, sequencing... All it is thinking about the order in which you should play your cards. And the thing that's like easy to the kind of like rule of thumb is when you look at the set of cards that you've got and you've got effects that might be RNG and effects that are not RNG, where you get to select very precisely what you want. Then the best thing to do is to start by playing the cards that have precise outcomes, and then use the effect that has a bit of randomness involved. And so for you, if you read the Tatsugiri, it has an ability called Attract Customers that looks at the top of your deck, and it picks out a supporter and it adds to your hand. So it looks at the top 7. So that effect you want to use after you take cards out of your deck, which are not valid targets for Attract Customers, because it increases the odds of that effect hitting, if that makes sense. So if you think about your deck now, it's got how many cards are in your deck at the moment? 46, right? If you play Arven, you get an item and a tool. If you play that Buddy Poffin, you get a couple of Pokemon. So then your deck size will go down to 42, and the odds that you'll hit a supporter, it goes up as a result. So you can start by playing Buddy Poffin.
All right.
And just have a look. Let's have a look at what you get.
I need Pokemons.
So I'm sort of watching your stream as well. So very essential for your deck to function. Dreepy. So I would just start with. I would start with 2 Dreepy, to be honest. Natu is pretty important too, but you've got a couple of turns leeway to get that one set up. So let's just start with a couple of Dreepy. We're going to put Natu into play this turn anyway, but we'll just start there. So you got a couple of Dreepy there. Now you've got Arven. Arven is quite good for you. It's a very good I'm going second type of trainer. So let's just play that.
All right, Arven.
It's your supporter for the turn, so you're not playing any more supporters this turn.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to grab off this one, I would say, is a Buddy Poffin and Technical Machine Evolution, if both of those cards are in your deck at the moment.
Technical Machine.
Ooh, unlucky. No TM Evolution. So we'll just take the rescue board here.
Yoink.
Yep. And then we'll play the Poffin.
Because you can play as many items as you like.
That's right. That's right.
I'm going to eat so many Poffins. And now grab
I had
the
my
Natu.
snacks before stream, so you can't.
Make you jealous again.
Yeah. So, I would like probably the triple Dreepy and 1 Natu. I would say the triple and 1 Natu.
All right.
So grab a Dreepy off this and 1 Natu, and you're good to go.
Dreepy.
I think that this is the way to go.
Well, you're the professor. I'll listen to you. Retreat. Choose that energy less. Okay.
So now we've got to figure out what we want to do on for the rest of the turn. So we've run out of ways to draw cards out of the deck. We've weaned it down to 40. We started at 46, now there's 40. So let's go ahead and use track customers, and hopefully we'll get a supporter, because we've got much better odds of hitting it here. So let's see how you go.
Ooh.
What'd we get?
Iono or Professor Turo?
So Turo is a great supporter, but not in this position. I would say take the Iono and we'll hit done.
An Iono. Each place of the hand put at the bottom of the deck if you do.
And so it's going to be very helpful next turn for you. I would play a Psychic Energy down on one of your Dreepy here.
And then my turn.
Now, if you're feeling daring, we can go ahead and put the rescue board on the Tatsugiri.
Oh yeah, and get him out of the way.
Well, we don't have to get Tatsugiri out of the way just yet. This is now a part where you've got to try and figure out, do you think that I can knock out the Tatsugiri before during my turn? Because if not, it would be optimal to just leave the Tatsugiri there and not do anything. But if you don't think so, then you could retreat to another Dreepy and keep the Tatsugiri safe, because it is pretty important, that card. I would say the other thing to think about too is my Skarmory has an attack that can hit the bench with Sonic Double. I just choose 2 of your Pokemon. So in that case, it might not even be worth retreating the Tatsugiri. For the sake of it, I'm just gonna say leave the Tatsugiri.
Let's leave him,
and then just end your turn.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that it was one of the ones that actually sticks to the Pokemon. I was thinking that it was like the item in Pocket where it's like the little X speed or whatever that removes one.
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was like a X speedy kind of thing, but it actually stays on him. That's cool.
No, yeah, it's a tool like I think
like the cape or Rocky Helmet.
Cape? Yeah.
Okay.
So
cool.
I am on my second turn of the game, and Claydol and Beldum both started the turn in play already. So what that means is I can evolve each of them. So I'm going to evolve into Steven's Claydol, and I'm going to evolve into Matang here. And then I'm going to play Professor's Research. It's a bit stronger than its Pokemon Pocket counterpart.
Yeah, heaps stronger.
Discards the hand and draws 7. Which is a lot.
It's a
So,
lot.
I did not draw any energy. That is a shame for me. I'm going to play Buddy Poffin. We're going to fill out the bench a little bit more.
I have one question.
Yeah.
What is the maximum amount of a single card that you can have in a deck?
4.
Like
double the amount of Pocket.
So you can have 4. Okay, cool.
Yeah, with some exceptions. So there are certain cards that say you can only have 1 copy of it.
Okay.
At the moment, that's Ace Specs.
Which is
so
this...
that purple card.
Yeah, the cool one.
Yep.
The purpley one.
I
cool.
am going to pass because I cannot do anything else.
And basic energy, you can have 59? Okay, cool, yep.
True.
Good to know.
True.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. If I wanna... So whenever your Pokemon's the active spot. Well, I don't really need to do that if my retreat is free. Each player shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. If each player bottom of their deck.
I would just play the Iono. You could be a little conservative if you wanted and attach the psychic energy. Yeah. I think actually attaching the psychic energy is good. You want to attach a psychic energy to one of the other Dreepy, not the one that already has one.
Yep, because he only needs 1.
Mm-hmm.
And just in case I don't pull an energy from reshuffling, I want to do it now, in case I'm really unlucky. Yep. All right.
Yep. So the reason why I even brought it up at all is because now you've used up your energy attachment for the turn.
Mm-hmm.
If you had drawn Rare Candy plus Dragapult and a Fire Energy, you could have attacked with Dragapult this turn. But you didn't draw it, and that's fine too. What you can do here, though, is it looks like you've drawn out some evolution cards.
Mm-hmm.
And your Dreepies and the Natu have all been in play since the beginning of the turn, so you can just go ahead and start evolving.
Evolving my boys.
Natu is good. And then we can put down the Dracloak, and that's a good place to put it. Now that Dracloak has an ability that you can use this turn too.
Once during your turn, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Put the other one at the bottom of your deck.
Yeah.
So in this case, would it matter if I used... Oh, also, can you use multiple abilities per turn?
Yes. So abilities will often say like once during your turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some abilities you can just spam them. But Dragapult, if you look at the Dracloak, it says once per turn.
Cool.
Now you also brought up or started to bring up an important point about sequencing. So going back to that idea of thinking about doing the thing that's random after doing the things that are precise.
Mm.
So what I would actually do in this case, you have to think about it a little differently, because what you've done now is you've used the supporter Iono to put a bunch of cards at the bottom of your deck. Can you see on the right-hand side of your screen, there's a little square beneath the 2 6s? The little square that's by itself?
Yep.
Can you click that for me, please?
I just moved myself. I'm going to move my little wee.
So this is a running log of all the things that you've done that have been done throughout the game so far.
Cool.
And then can you expand out where it says played Iono? So Pirate Willow played Iono.
Yeah.
Expand that out. So these are the cards. It says you put 4 cards on the bottom of your deck. So it's a bit like removing those from the equation before you decide to use either Dracloak's ability or Tatsugiri, because you know that you cannot see those cards when you use Dracloak. So I would say in this case, you don't want to use Ultra Ball before Dracloak's ability, even though Dracloak and Tatsugiri here are both like kind of random in what they want to do. We've now controlled it a bit because we know what the cards at the bottom are.
Okay.
So with all that being said, you now have to think about what is the most important card you need to see this turn. And for me, it's about thinking about what you want to be able to do next turn, because one of the things that you can only do once per turn and that you really want to do once per turn is you want to play a supporter. Now have a look at your hand. How many supporter cards have you got?
I don't have any supporter cards, but I have item
We're
cards.
at 0.
We're at 0.
So we really need to rectify that quickly. So the thing that we want to do is we want to maximize the chance that Tatsugiri will see a supporter card off the attract customers ability. So therefore, what we want to do here is use Dracloak's ability to reduce the number of cards off the top of your deck in order for Tatsugiri to have a better chance at seeing a draw supporter.
Okay.
So now with that 5-minute explanation out of the way, let's click the ability on Dracloak to see the next 2 cards.
What do we got?
So let's see.
Dragapult.
You got Pult and you got Devolution. I would say the more important card for you is that stage 2, that Dragapult. So let's grab that. It means that next turn, you'll be headbutting.
We ready?
If nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we've got a bit of an important decision to make. We need to decide whether we want to use Ultra Ball to grab another Dracloak first, or if we want to use Tatsugiri's ability now. And I would say that using Tatsugiri's ability now is the right play, because the card that you didn't select just now of Recon Directive got put to the bottom of your deck. So now we know 5 cards that are at the bottom of your deck, and none of them are cards that you want to find off attract customers.
So I have a better chance of having a supporter card at the top of my deck, because I know that there's none at the bottom.
That's right. So let's see. What did we find?
Nothing.
Ain't no way.
Nothing.
Mate, you got cooked.
Oh,
you got cooked.
No. Well.
Okay, so we'll hit done. We'll collect ourselves a little bit. There is still something you can do. You can play Ultra Ball here. You can discard the other Ultra Ball and the Poffin, and we can get another Dracloak.
All right.
So let's try it.
So
turn's not over. It's not.
All hope is not lost. And we want Dracloak.
Sometimes the seas are stormy and we have to navigate it as best we can. So let's grab the Dracloak.
And play him?
Let's put it... Yep, we'll put it down on the Droopy with energy. So now I would have to try and take out both of them to cut you off from having an easy Dragapult next turn. So that's a good thing from that perspective too. Let's use the ability Recon Directive, and we'll see if you manage to hit a supporter here.
Hey.
Or an energy. One of the two would be good.
Got the Arven supporter.
Arven is good enough, I think, for now. So let's grab the Arven.
And play him?
Well, we've already played Iono for the
turn, that's right.
So you'll have to sit tight with what you got. I think that what you could do here is retreat the Tatsugiri now. Put up that Droopy. It's gonna have to take one for the team, unfortunately. So we'll retreat the fish and we'll promote the little dragon.
Good luck, little guy.
So you gotta click the card and then click retreat.
Yeah.
I should have explained that.
It's the same on Pocket, so I did know that one. So good.
Fair enough. Okay, so I've got cards to play. I do not remember how this deck works, but I will get there. And it's actually okay. I'm gonna keep the handicap, but having one eye covered with an eye patch is really messing with me.
Yeah, you probably have no depth perception because you don't have both eyes out.
Mate, it's tough. It's tough. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play a psychic energy onto the Skarmory. I'm gonna play this Ultra Ball. Do you remember that card?
Yeah.
Ultra Ball. It took me like 2 minutes to find a
Example.
So I'm gonna grab the hero of this deck, Steven's Metagross, and put it into play. So let's have a read. Let's see what this thing does. Once during your turn, search your deck for a basic Psychic, a basic Metal, or one of each and attach them to one of your Psychic and Metal Pokemon.
Whoa.
And then shuffle your deck. So, I'm going to use this card, EXP Share. So it's going to affect, it's a tool like the cape in Pocket.
Mm-hmm.
When the active Pokemon is knocked out, move a basic energy from that Pokemon to the Pokemon this is attached to. So eventually, when my Skarmory goes down, Metagross will absorb the energy for me.
Cool.
We're going to play... So I do not want to draw into energy, so I'm going to use X Boot and take a... Dude, did I mess up with Sonic Double? Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's tragic.
You already...
Yeah, that's tragic. Oh no, mate. What have I done? Okay, well, I'm gonna do it like this. We're gonna power up this Claydol. I'm gonna play Research. See, this eye patch is making it tough. It's making it tough.
You're throwing. Fake
I
pirate,
am.
fake pirate, fake eye patch, fake.
What do you mean? Okay. Oh, I need to get that card out, but I have filled my bench. Okay, so I'm going to grab a Matang. Matang's going to hit the bench. And I'm going to throw out the first attack of the game. Razor Wing, 30 damage. Pretty strong.
Poor little Dreamy. He's just a little guy.
Yeah. He's toughing it out there.
Ooh, okay.
So.
Do I want to put Dragapult, or do I want to wait an ability?
This is a
and then
classic.
Put it out?
You want to use the ability at least one more time before you evolve
Mm-hmm.
into the Dragapult. So I would start with Recon Directive on the one that you want to evolve, and let's see what you get.
An energy or a Natu.
So I think that the energy is good.
I don't have any in my hand right now, so...
Oh, wait. What's your bench looking like? Actually, take the Natu. Yeah, take the Natu, I think. Because... So the problem is that the Pokemon you have on the bench no longer require the Psychic energy to be attached.
Mm.
So let's just play the Natu.
Alright. Get on the bench, Natu. And now
You've got nothing good to attach the Psychic energy to. So we'll play the Natu. We'll play the Dragapult onto the Dracloak.
Yeah! My Terrestrial boy. Then do I recon again?
So now we've got to try and work our way towards the fire energy. It's tough. Like, okay, I need to review the deck list again to see if the answer can be gotten off the Arven. Because if you've got... Okay, I'm
Item
going
card
to...
and a Pokemon tool card. Reveal them and put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. Or the other one is
if there's
shuffle it
okay,
and put
yeah,
it at the bottom.
play the Arven. Play the Arven. That's perfect here. Play the Arven. So we're gonna grab Vessel, and we're going to grab Rescue Board so that you can manual attach. We'll go through it in steps. So grab Vessel.
Yep.
And we're gonna grab
Rescue board. All right.
Very good. If I knew the deck list better, I would have told you to play Arven before anything else.
Okay.
So,
two basic
with
energy,
this
reveal
hand,
them, put them in your hand, and shuffle your deck. Okay.
I actually want you to use Draclerk first here. So Draclerk's Recon Directive. Yeah. Because what we're looking for is another card in hand to discard with the vessel.
Ooh. I got energy and Ultra Ball.
That's good. Just take the fire energy. Just take the fire
I will have
energy.
that, thank you.
So now we're going to attach the rescue board to the active Dreepy.
Uh-huh. Blonk.
Then we're going to attach the fire energy
To Dragon Pole. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then send it back.
Then we're going to retreat Dreepy to the pole.
Boink.
And now we're going to use Phantom Dive.
Phantom Dive. So why don't we want to play the... Because we're just gonna... We don't want to play the Earthen Vessel because we don't need any other energy this turn?
Not yet. So the thing that we would love to have done with this position is play Vessel to get Psychic Energy, to then use Xatu's ability to accelerate one Psychic to that Dreepy on the bench. However, it would require you to discard one of either Super Rod or Iono, and both of them are excellent cards for you to hang on to.
We don't want to get rid of them.
So, I guess, maybe you could justify discarding the Iono with Vessel, because next turn Iono is only going to draw you 4 cards. So, I want to try it. Let's use Vessel. Vessel adds 2 cards to hand, which is already good. And then we get to use Xatu's ability, which draws another 2 cards. So it's kind of equivalent.
So
we'll see how it pans out.
I'm binning Iono. Iono's going in the bin.
Yes. Yep. Bye.
Get in the bin, Iono. And I'm taking... What type of energy? I'm taking...
Let's take 1 Psychic and 1 Fire. Because those are the energies that we want. Now let's use the Xatu ability. Xatu ability, and put the Psychic energy on the Dreepy.
On the Dreepy, please. There we go. Ooh.
And then what did we find?
Got a Tatsugiri and a rare candy.
That is funny. You can go ahead and declare your attack now. Because you've got nothing left to do, really.
Die.
Yeah. And then have a look at my bench. You got a few choices as to where to put the damage counters. You could go for a knockout straight away on my Baltoy, because Baltoy has 60 HP. Or you could try and start putting damage down on the Metagross to try and bring it into a closer range for a KO. I think that you're probably better off just doing the damage to the Baltoy.
Getting the prize card.
Yeah, so the thing is Metagross has like a lot of HP. You're almost always going to have to attack it twice in order to get that KO. So my inclination is to do the damage to things like the Baltoy in order to get the cheap prizes. At the end of the day, what you're trying to do is take 6 prizes to win before I do the same thing. So I think that approach is fine.
Oh, which one do I pick? Okay.
Important choice.
It's like wonder picking. This one.
Yeah, true.
And this one. Oh, the technical machine. I found it.
Hey, there it is. Bit too late though, but you never know. Okay, so I'm gonna promote Claydol here. Now it's my turn. So what am I gonna do on my turn? I have an energy to attach, so I'm going to do it like this. Do I want to play that card? No, I don't. I'm going to play this. So I played my Iono, and now you're at 4 cards.
Damn, your deck is already so
each...
low.
yeah, I guess so. Well, a part of it will be because I played the professor's research, I would say. To discard and then draw 7. You see a lot of cards by doing that. So I'm going to use Rare Candy. It lets me skip Metagross and go straight to Metagross. Sorry, skip Metang and go to Metagross.
Goes from first to last.
And then we're going to use
Evo.
And then we can use X-Boot.
What does X-Boot do? Search for a basic psychic and a basic steel energy, or one of each, and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Okay.
Yeah. Are you familiar with stadium cards?
Yeah, vaguely.
Cave.
So that turns the
stadium affects both of us. Steven's Pokemon take 30 less damage. So if you had any Pokemon in play that was a Steven's Pokemon, you would take 30 less, but it doesn't look like you do. On the other hand, all of mine are Steven's, so it affects me a little bit more than it affects you.
Damn. Steven's OP.
I have 2 Steven's Metagross, so I'm going to use the ability twice. Like that. And then I'm going to use Clay Blast. 220.
Oof.
Big swing.
You swing at me.
You're still in the driver's seat. Even though this Dragapult's taken a hit, you got some good cards available to you. I would say that you probably want to start with Recon Directive. I think would be a good one for you here. And then we'll go from there.
Use my ability. I got Iono and Vessel. Probably one Vessel.
Vessel is a good one for you, yes.
And I can get energy. Now,
Let's have a look. So I'm trying to have a think about what's best in this position here. Turo is very tempting to play on this turn, so that you can take that damaged Dragapult off the table. But we've got to make sure that we can get the fire energy as well. So we want to play the Arven. I'm going to get you to discard the counter catcher, because I'm going to assume that we're going to be winning for the entire game here on your side. Counter catcher you can only play when you're losing. And so if you're never losing, then counter catcher is a bit inert. It's not doing anything.
All right.
So let's play Vessel, and we'll discard the catcher.
Vessel. Bye, catcher.
And we're going to do what we did before. We're going to grab a fire and a psychic, I would say. If you've got that available. Easy.
Kill.
Now, we're going to do this a little differently. I want you to attach the fire energy to the Dracloak.
Got him.
Now I would like you to use Turo on the active Dragapult. So this is going to take that Pokemon and put it back into your hand. So
okay, cool.
Turo.
And then it gets rid of all the damage.
Yeah. You also lose the energy, but there's cards to get the energy back. So we'll promote the Dracloak. Yep.
He's back and he's at full health.
Minor misplay. We could have played that one a little bit better too. We could have put up the Tatsugiri first. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're not too worried. Go ahead and put your Dreepy down. I'm hit with an ad now, so I can't watch your screen very well. Put the Dreepy down. We'll use Xatu to put the psychic energy on the Dreepy with no energy.
Yeah.
Let me know what you drew.
I will. I drew another psychic energy and a technical machine devolution.
Cool. You don't really need the TM Devo right this moment, but it could be good in the times ahead. So we've used our supporter for turn. There's a Dracloak sitting in the back there too, isn't there? Let's go ahead and put the Dracloak on the Droopy with the damage.
With the damage? Because then it...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't put it on the other one because you already played...
I played it this turn, not last turn.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
So now you can use the ability. So let's go ahead and use the recon directive.
Again.
This is that private knowledge lesson coming into it. Even though that Dracloak says you can only use the ability once per turn, you were allowed to use it more than once because it entered a private area of the game and then re-entered the game. Take the fire energy. That's going to be quite good for you.
Flameo.
So you're cooking with this setup. Your deck is doing everything that you could possibly want it to do, really. No problem.
Sweet.
What I'm going to suggest is we take your Dragapult there. We're going to use Phantom. We'll use. Okay, let's think. The one other thing that you could do here is try and get your second Zatu, but I don't think it's a big deal. I would say use Phantom Dive here.
I'm diving.
We're diving, and then I think what I want to do is put all the damage counters on the Metagross with 2 energy on it.
That's always my reflex in Pocket as well. It's like, get the one that's closest to attacking me out of the way.
Yeah. So, I've got a plan for you to take down the Metagross in kind of an interesting way, but we'll see if it pans out or not. I'm not too sure if it will.
Oh, this one.
In any case, you're now 3 prizes ahead to my 6. So I'm struggling a little bit, but we'll see what I can do.
Catch up, son. Get on my level, boy.
Yeah, problem. Okay, so I'm gonna grab an energy, and we're just gonna chuck it down here.
If anything, it's just because you're a better teacher. That's why. That's why. You're just such a good teacher.
Perhaps. I think You're
just playing yourself in chess at this point, right? Just
a little bit. I think Dragapult is just a very, very excellent card. There's a reason why it's tier 1 at the moment, and there's also a reason why Metagross is sort of not really made its international debut at all since it's come out.
Is the reason why he's tier 1 because he's just a cute little guy? It's just a cute little guy.
Pult is. Have you read the flavor text on Droopy? Let's read it together. Droopy says, "It has a habit of biting at Quancher even though it doesn't feed on them. This is said to be vestigial behavior from when Droopy was alive. So it just likes to bite Pokemon for fun.
From when Droopy was alive?
Yeah, Droopy's a ghost.
Droopy is dead? What the hell?
Yeah. Droopy's a ghost, and it's just like, it's just biting Quanchers for fun. It's a bully.
It's just
haunting them.
Just like, yeah, that's what a mean little guy. How's he so cute and he's so mean? Is he just nibbling on people? Stop nibbling on people, Droopy. What the hell?
Yeah, it's rude. Okay, so I've got not a lot else planned for this turn. I'm just going to use Metal Stomp.
I love how they just bring in, like, just straight up fucking dead Pokemon. They're just dead. They're just dead. They're just dead. They're ghosts.
Yeah, they don't.
Straight up.
They don't really.
They don't beat around the bush.
It's interesting. It's interesting how many more liberties they've taken with the stories that make the background of the Pokemon.
200 damage.
Big swing with Metal Stomp. So let's have a look at your hands. What have we got? So the thing that I would really like to do with your deck this turn is spread the damage around a bit more. And we'll get to that. So what the outcome that we're trying to find this turn is we're trying to use boss's orders. That would be really, really good for you. But to get there, we're going to have to draw a bunch of cards and do a bunch of things. So let's start by using Zatu's ability. And we're going to accelerate the energy. I think we're going to put it onto the Zatu itself. So let's try that.
Sorry.
Bottom left, the Zatu. Yeah, the Zatu.
Yup. Use the ability.
Your left hand. Yeah, click on it, and we're going to use Clairvoyant Sense.
Oh my god, my OBS just crashed.
Yeah, where were we? So I think attaching to Zatu here is fine. That psychic energy. It's not the best place.
To the Natu, to the Zatu.
To the Zatu.
Yeah.
You know, Zatu with an X makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? X marks the spot. So a couple of good cards. Not much you can do with them right this moment. However, I see a cheeky little sweet there, the rare candy.
Oh, I can rare candy the Dreepy straight into the Dragapult.
Off you go.
Yay!
Here we go.
Rare candy. Bam! My big boy's out.
And you're cooking. Now this time, I think our Pult is sort of sealed to its fate a little bit. But what we can do is just use the Dracoke ability now. We're gonna try one more time to see if we can hit a boss's orders.
Boss's orders. Got it.
That's the card that we want.
Aw, Sag.
No dice?
No dice.
I would say... Do you have a Fire Energy in hand already? Do you remember?
I do have a Fire Energy in hand already, yes.
Okay, I would keep the Fezandipity.
Yoink.
Ooh, shared chat started. It actually worked. Hooray.
Yay! It just took my thing a while to load.
Fezandipity is a great card. So we'll hang on to that for a minute. I would say now take the Fire Energy and attach it to that Dragapult on the bench.
Yoink.
So now you're guaranteed to be able to do what you need to do next turn. And now, I think we are just using Phantom Dive, and we're gonna spread the damage to. We're gonna spread the damage to the Matang on the bench. I think.
I'm diving.
Do we?
Whee!
I don't know. This one's like a bit of a tough one for me to decide what to do, but
I guess the odds are the next turn I can, like, if the Matang is on the bench, I can kill it.
We can do some shenanigans. We can do some things. I think maybe putting it on the Metagross EX was the better spot, but it's...
You know what? I'll put 10. I'll put 10 on there. I'll just put a little...
Split the difference.
Just a little...
Not bad.
A little...
So, the reason why I'm being particular with the placement of the damage, you see how Beldum has 70 HP, and then in your hand you've got a card called Technical Machine Devolution. So when you use that card's attack, which is Devolution, all of my Pokemon go down an evolution level.
Damn.
So what can happen is if my Metagross becomes a Beldum, my one in the active, if it becomes Beldum, it'll be a Beldum with 230 damage on it. So it just gets knocked out immediately.
Oh, damn.
And so why that's like kind of exciting is if you can get damage counters everywhere, you can then
devolve.
end the game by de-evolving all of my Pokemon, and if they've all got damage counters on them already, then they all get knocked out. It's interesting to be able to do that.
That's like big. That's so big brain. That sounds so big brain.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It's cool. Now, I am fearful for Matang's life, so I'm going to play Ultra Ball. I'm going to discard a couple of cards here. And
try and rescue my boy.
Our choices, because Metagross is not in the deck. That is a shame for me.
Oof.
I'm gonna take this little guy out. You don't need to worry about him.
Oh.
Or her rather.
A little guy.
Carbink.
There's a little guy coming for me.
I think Carbink's probably just gonna warm the hand this game. I don't think I'm gonna put it down.
Yeah.
Now what do I want to do? Probably don't want to do anything. So I've got a Super Rod in hand, and so it'd be very tempting to put a bunch of energy back in the deck. But I kind of don't need to play it. All it would do is reduce the odds of me drawing a supporter or something. I don't really want to draw the energy, so I'm just going to attack with Metal Stomp here. I know I've got no energies left in the deck, so I'm just doing that.
No, my boy!
Down goes the Pult. I get 2 prizes. I'm on the board, finally.
Nice.
And then what you probably want to do here is promote the fish instead of the Pult.
Oh, and then I can use the... okay.
Yeah, you get to use the ability, and then you get to retreat.
And
you
sneak
get to retreat for free, because Rescue Board reduces the retreat cost. Wait, am I trolling? Actually, wait. How much damage was on the Matang? It was 50, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you could have won on that turn. My bad.
Oh, no, because it's an EX. I could have. Yep, sorry. I knew that.
You could have just won on the
Even
spot.
I knew that.
My bad. Sorry, I was leading you down the garden path there a little bit.
Professor.
You could have just won immediately.
Prof.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on, Prof? Could have just, let me have this. Let me have this win.
Digifang, can you see I'm working with an injury here?
Yeah, come on.
I've got one hand.
You didn't see.
I've got one
You didn't
eye.
see.
I'm trying really hard here, but it's a little difficult to see the damage counters on the screen. I don't know if you've ever lost an eye before, Digifang.
Yeah.
Crikey.
He's trying. He's not used to it.
He's
It's his first time with a patch. Some of us live this life. Some of us don't.
Oh, goodness. Mate, it's cooked. So, there's not a lot I could do here in this spot. I can declare Metal Stomp. I'm going to swing into the Pult. And then you just put it away with Phantom Dive and put the damage counters onto the Matang.
Nice. We're not doing anything else. We're just boom.
Easy.
Schmack.
You put it away.
Nice.
You say GG easy to your opponent. Send them some emotes, and then you take your ranked points and off you go. Well done.
Thanks for practicing my new deck. Yay. Oh my god, look at your fit. Nice fit. I have nothing cool.
I love it.
Let's go.
All the water Pokemon. That is like the type of gameplay that will win games for sure. Like you definitely, if you can emulate that decision making and sort of approach to the game with a deck like Dragapult, you'll be just fine.
For sure.
I think the harder part will be learning how to build your own decks.
Yeah.
And, like identifying the cards that you like and building around them.
I feel like that's part 2. I feel like that's like lesson number 2, right? Like the starting is like, this is how you get in and play. And then after that, it's like, okay, how do we actually start doing that deeper thing of like making your own decks and like more of that decision making and maybe more complicated choices? I think I definitely learned a lot of like it's definitely the order of doing things that's like the hardest thing, or like the most different. Like when to use which ability before other abilities is like definitely like very helpful to understand why you would
Yeah.
want to use something before something else.
Sort of goes to show that you can just pick a couple of important things about whatever it is that you're doing to learn a little bit about to get to like improve a lot too. And I
Yeah.
think that what the two pieces of advice that I give to every new player. So like I'll be playing Pokemon TCG live here on Twitch, and I'll get somebody who comments who says, "Hey, just found your stream. I started playing like a month ago. Have you got any advice for me?" And I say to them two things. I say, for one, have fun and enjoy looking at cards in a new light that you've never looked at them before, right? You'll pick up this Monkey Dory card and it says once during your turn, move 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. And you're like, wow, I didn't know that a card could do that. And every card is a joy to look at. And the world is wonderful and filled with rainbows and colors. It's really, it's like the joy of being new to something. So everything is like new and exciting.
Yeah.
The other thing is I encourage people to give things a go and don't feel like it's going to be too complicated for you or too hard. Dragapult, that deck that I just got you to play, is one in times past I would have said, no, let's not do that. That makes things a little bit too tricky, having to think about where all the damage counters goes and stuff like that. Actually, you handled it just fine, I think. Or maybe it's hard to assess when I'm not virtually over your shoulder telling you what to do.
Yeah.
But I think that you give any deck a fair shake and it'll make sense.
I've always kind of had that
with a few games.
Yeah, I think I have enough background understanding, especially from playing a little bit more Pocket, to just like click buttons and try something. But I also think it's you're right that it's a big attitude thing. I think that if you go into it and you're like, I don't actually need to understand everything, I will just give it my best and like try it. And then if I make a mistake and I quickly will realize what I was supposed to do instead. Like even when, like we moved the damage counters and then I was like, oh, it would have been smarter for me. And like you explaining like, hey, this is why you would have put it on the other thing. And then I'm like, yeah, like good point. Wouldn't have thought about that. Like that makes a lot of sense. It's not like complicated or convoluted. It's like, no, that fully makes sense. We prepare for possible situations. And I think maybe that's why things have been a bit daunting, because I'm like, the whole thing about like, oh, you need to prepare for what the other person's what other decks people are gonna play. Because I'm just like, I just want to worry about like what I'm doing. Like I'm not worried about what my opponent's doing. I'm just gonna worry about what I'm doing. And that like next level of understanding is where you get to.
And then when you get comfortable, that's when you start worrying about what your opponent's doing.
Yeah.
You get there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I've got a couple minutes left on the stream for me. Did you have any other questions? Anything you wanted to throw out there into the universe? Or?
I don't think so. It was really good. I definitely definitely learnt a lot. Like it made a big difference. Even just walking through the deck and stuff. Like it really is genuinely helpful and have a better understanding. So it has worked. So good job, Prof. Good job, Professor Vice. You've done a good job, because it really does make a big difference. And thank you for entertaining me with it as well. I know it was a bit of like a, hey, what about this? And then you just did a heap of work. So really thank you. I appreciate it so much.
It's been something I've been ruminating on for a really long time. It was more about just like finding somebody to pitch the idea to, but you are the one who pitched it to me. You're like, hey, let's do a quick stream together. You can teach me how to play Pokemon. I'm like, I've been thinking about this for a really long time, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it like this.
Yeah, I feel like there is a possible part 2 there as well, with like building a deck or something. Like what you said earlier about pick a Pokemon that you really like and go from there. I feel like maybe there's a part 2 in there. If I find a Pokemon that I'm like, this is my book, because I've always said I want to play one that's for my favorite Pokemon, and I know it doesn't always work because things like it does not function, but I still want to do it. I want to do I want to do a Zoroark deck. I want you to teach me to build.
Yeah,
we can sit and build the Zoroark deck. I feel like I have to have the cards.
There is a really good one at the moment. There's a really good Zoroark deck, so we can do it.
That's the part 2. Yeah. Part 2 coming soon. That's perfect.
We can do that.
Pencil in part 2.
and we'll do part 2 of the pirate school for Pokemon TCG.
Yes.
So
that sounds great. That sounds like a
all right.
plan.
Well, I'm gonna call it there.
Yeah, same.
It's time for dinner for me.
It is.
So
I haven't eaten either, so I am also hungry. I'm gonna go eat. But thank you again. It was a good time, and it was genuinely very helpful. I really appreciate it.
No worries. All right, I'm gonna jump off the call.
No worries.
Leave you to it.
Yeah,
Catch
have
you
good
later.
dinner. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, you scallywags. It's time for me to knock off.